Okay, what have I gotten myself into? There's more piece parts than you can shake a stick at. I hope I get this back together right. Anyway, I'm just starting to put this Sonax shift kit in, and it's telling me to take out my PR valve, which is the pressure regulator valve, and throw it away and put theirs in. So I got a bag over here with goodies in it. So there it is right there. I just need to cut the bag open, fetch that out of there. Okay, this is their valve. Here's the old one. Don't know. Oh, there's a hole in the end. They've drilled a hole through it, and a hole in there and through here. Anyway, this is the valve. Well, they tell you in here. I guess some guys would take a drill and they drill a hole between this passage and this passage. And it says, caution, do not drill line to lube hole. If there already is a hole drilled, it should be plugged. A hole here will cause converter drain back. And why they would drill the hole is so that it would charge the converter and pump pressure in park. And stock, they don't do that. Only in neutral do they pump pressure. That's why in your owner's manual it tells you to check the oil in neutral, not park. So I believe this valve is going to change that so that it will pump pressure in park. Okay, when you take one of these apart, you're going to want to make sure you set your springs with the valves that they go with so you can identify them. Mine has got it's probably had a shift kit put in it before. These are not OE springs, and with this Sonax kit I've got to get the OE spring for the I can't remember what it's called. It's for this. I think this is your pressure regulating spool. Voila! Anyway, thank goodness I've got a book. It kind of shows all this stuff in exploded view. I'd be in serious trouble here. When I had it overhauled the first time, I know they put a shift kit in it. And I don't know what in the world they put in it. So there. And then we got a solid one that's going to go in this bore. So many spools. $325 is maybe that one. Maybe not. No. No. Good. Well, this is a lot of fun. I got valves up the wazoo. Oh yeah, dump it out, Jeff. Good going, buddy. Oh boy. These are my new ones that go here, along with this and this, and that and that. And this is an old one, I believe. Okay, one valve body done. It's assembled. Bag 'em, Dano. Okay, I've got the valve in. Got a confession to make. I bought a remanufactured valve from Sonax because I just got looking at mine and the amount of miles on it. 315,000, and I had no way to vacuum check a lot of critical areas in the valve. So I just bit the bullet. That's a $600 remanufactured valve with their SureCure shift kit in it and an updated solenoid, governor solenoid. And what they do is they oversize the bores for the valve spools and put oversized spools in it, so it gets you back to brand new. Okay, this is your converter, and this next step is very important. What you want to do is you want to align your turbolator with the y-axis, and so this is how you do it. So you spin it, and you see how out of balance that is? And so what it's doing is it's spinning around and it's orienting the turbolator with the y-axis. Now watch it very carefully. See, it's getting aligned here. Okay, here we go. Now she's nice and smooth. So what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to pour this special oil in here. And go ahead and pour that in. Pour the whole bottle. There we go. Okay, this is specially formulated balance oil. Now watch. Oh, here we go. Look at that. No more wobbling. See how that balancing oil worked? Now this is very, very important. You have to do this to balance your converter. You have to get some balancing oil to align the turbolator with the y-axis. Look at that baby spin. Wow. Ain't that something? See, that's perpetual motion. This is a B&D perpetual motion converter. Whew. 27 black. Okay, this is my derail pan. This is a deep pan. Significantly, let me show you that. Quite a bit deeper than the other one. I think it holds like another gallon of oil. And then it's got these tubes through it. And this is what it looks like inside. So I assume the tubes help cool the oil. This is the magnet out of the original Dodge pan. And this one has a magnetic pan, but it's just a little teeny magnet. So I thought, well, what the heck, I'll throw it in there. And then it also has a fitting here. I could put a temperature probe in the pan. I could have bought a complete rebuild and just put it in and went back to driving. But I kind of wanted to just do this myself. And if something happens and it doesn't last, I have only myself to blame, nobody else. So hopefully I've put some good quality parts in there and I've assembled it correctly. I've been very, very clean, and I've upgraded a lot of stuff like this pan and the converter with the drain plug. I still have to get my water to oil cooler that's on the side of the block off and flush it out, and I'll probably get rid of the check valve that's in it so that when I change the oil I can let it sit and all the oil out of the coolers will drain back into the transmission. Okay, that's filtered solvent I'm running through this. I want to show you. I took the check fitting out, and this is full blast. Look at the stream of stuff that'll run through there. So that thing will really flow some fluid through it. With this check valve, I put the pressure washer on this side because it's got to depress that ball, just spring on this side, and it just doesn't really squirt much through. You can see how restrictive that is. So let's see if we can get this check valve out of this fitting. I've ground around here, ground it down. It's about ready to fly out. I can just pry it out. Yep, there we go. And this is it. There's the spring and the retainer, and there's the ball, and it's not metal, some kind of plastic. It's rubber, so it seals good, I guess. So anyway, now we're straight through. Woo! Okay, I want to show you the size of the holes in here. Hopefully you can see that in there. That hole is not even as big as the one in the fitting I was just showing you. So, and it's the same on this side. If you can see that in there. I'm guessing that's probably a 1/4 inch hole. And so they're restricting the coolant way down. So you're not running a lot of coolant through there and you're not doing a lot of cooling. So I'm going to have to go ahead and agree that this is really not a cooler. It's more than likely just a transmission oil warming device. That's how you jack up a Dodge and get a tranny under it. You just lift the front end up. You gotta lift it up that high. I had to put the stock pan on the tranny to get it under there. Alright, so I got my transfer case apart. Got it scattered. I got new parts for it. I just got seals. And the only reason I took this apart was because of this right here. It's broke. And I put some epoxy glue on it. But it must have still had some oil in it. Anyway, it was seeping. Never did shut it off. So I'm going to sandblast that tomorrow. Clean it up. Take it to somebody, see if they can weld it up. This is the main shaft. This is the shaft that goes in through the transfer case and into the transmission right here. Anyway, gonna start assembling it. Here's my little friend Trans Gel. So I'm gonna put some Trans Gel where this synchronizer gear runs. That all greased up. This is the synchronizer here. It's tapered. It's only going to go on. It's only going to go on this gear one way. See that because of the taper here. So we want to put just a thin film of Trans Gel on that. Otherwise, it'll want to go down on that and bind up and stick. Put some on the thrust surfaces. Actually, this is the gear that the chain goes on and drives the output shaft, but the synchronizer also goes on it. So we're gonna make sure that all the thrust surfaces and everything are covered in Trans Gel. This is going to go on like this on the shaft right there. Then your synchronizer is going to go on. This brass piece is tapered so that when you go to engage the four-wheel drive on the fly, it makes the gears mesh together. This is your synchronizer or your shift collar. And this is going to go down over this and engage onto that gear, and then also the oh, the planetary gear, and then that's going to drive it. So that's on. So now, next piece to go on is this gear here. And this has got these clips on it. And these, well, I'll show you, this is going to go on the outside of it. And this sets your, when you shift it, that collar inside here, there's some ground out places. And that's where it shifts to and it sits. So on this one, probably want a little bit of trans gel around here where it touches that collar at the bottom. And other than that, that's probably about it. Now when this goes on, this has these slots and they have to line up with that deal there. And since this is on teeth, you've got to rotate the synchronizer. There, now you're on. Now there's a snap ring that goes on there that holds all that together. If I can get it on. Stiff little bugger. There. Okay, we're in. I do believe we're in. Yeah, we're in. Okay, so now it's time for this to go on, and it's going to go on with the tapered edge facing up. And this is the part that goes in the tranny. So in order to get this on, you just line the teeth up and then push in here, get each one of these to allow it to go down over the teeth. There we go. Okay, I think that's neutral, I think. This is the main shaft. Is going to show you how it works. This is your gear that runs the chain on it over to the output shaft to the front end. And so when this is engaged, when this synchronizer slides back and shifts into that, now it locks these two gears together, and so this turns with the main shaft. Then your planetary on the front controls your neutral and your high and low. And so right in here, this would be neutral. It's not hooked to the shaft. Push it all the way in, and now we're engaged solid, and this just free floats. So this would be high ranged, and then come back to here. It's kind of hard to do with this all hanging loose here, but when these teeth engage back here like this, then it's going to turn this inside the housing, and that'd be your four-wheel drive low. And so this one back here only controls whether you're in four-wheel drive or not, and this controls your high range, direct drive, low range, or your neutral. I've got all this junk stuffed in there now. Had to put the low range fork in. You could put that in by itself, but the four-wheel drive and this one to gauge it in four-wheel drive, and then it puts it in. Yeah, that's all that one is, four-wheel drive. See, this is the gear that runs the other one over here. Anyway, you got to put that whole thing in as an assembly and fight all this linkage to get it lined up. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I got it. So aha. Did I put that on yet? Or what? Voila. Okay, figured out how you do it. Take this snap ring off of here, put the shaft in, get the gear on, and then pry bar that gear on there. Now all I gotta do is put the snap ring back on. That is one tight wicked chain. Neither had to be a trick to it, I just had to stare at it long enough. Snap ring is not going in. Your problem. Come on, there you go. Maybe for you? Yep. Alright. She's in. Woohoo. Okay, the next problem I got, I've been away from this for quite a while. I went to Mexico for a week, then came home and had all kinds of jobs to do that took me away from this. So I forgot. I got this spring and this deal, but I'm pretty sure that goes on there, and then when you put the case on, you're going to have to tip this up, and that's got to slide over that and go in the hole in the back of the case. At least I hope that's how it works. So anyway, I may have to look that one up. But there it is, it's back together. Alrighty, we got all the guts in the transfer case. These are really pretty simple to do. I learned a few tricks putting it back together. Wish I'd have known them when I took it apart. Number one is take this snap ring off, and then you can pull this out of the synchronizer a little bit, and then this gear will come off this shaft, and then when you go to put it back together, you can pull this out. Don't pull it all the way out of the synchronizer, just lay it down flat on the bench and pull it out a little bit. Put this gear in the chain and get it over the shaft, and then get it on the splines. It goes on the splines really easy. Then put your lock ring back on, and then I got to tip it up this way because you got this spring and this deal that's got to go on there, and then also this is the oil pump pickup, and then that's the oil pump, and so I've got to fit the oil pump on the back side here and get it plugged in, and then lower this whole assembly down on the case. So I'm going to put silicone on it right now. I got some ultra gray silicone to glue it together, so I'm going to do that. I was under the impression that you fill your oil to this line, but I don't think so, because if you can read this here, it says 4.83 pints. This is the factory tag that was still on it. This was made February 5th of 2000 at 7:19 and 54 seconds a.m. New Venture gear model 241 DL. So 4.83 pints. That's going to be about 2.5 quarts. Well, we got the transmission in, but all I wanted to do here was just take out my transmission oil cooler, the one in front of the radiator, because I wanted to replace that. And you can't get it out unless you take the bumper off. So I took the bumper off. Then I started to notice I've got an oil leak in there. Here I have a flashlight. I had a bad oil leak. and it was coming off of this oil cooler housing. This is the oil where the oil cooler goes in, and then your oil filter adapter plate goes on that, bolts to it, and your oil filter. So I took that out, and I got some gaskets coming for that. Okay, this is the engine oil cooler here. This is your filter adapter that comes off. Just to show you how stupid they designed this. Okay, this bolt won't come out unless you take that plug out. So I just left it in there. And then this is your actual cooler, and I've plugged the oil inlet and outlet holes. This is the water side of it. Anyway, I won't have gaskets for it till probably Monday morning. Today's Thursday. God dang geographical oddity. 2 weeks from everywhere. Okay, I got the cooler and the filter adapter back in. Kind of a pain to put this in with all this junk in here. Anyway, just to let you know, when you want to get parts for these, you don't have to go to the dealer. You just go to your local Case IH store. These 5.9s were in a lot of Case IH tractors, swathers. So if you need water pumps, front seals, a lot of common parts that are on the tractors too, you can just go get them from the tractor dealer. That's where I got the oil cooler gaskets, and they're all the same. So it's not like he had to look anything up. Just they're all the same. Okay, time to find out if Jeffrey's transmission handiwork is gonna work. So here we go. Second, third, lock up third, fourth, and lock up. Go from a standstill and give it a bunch of throttle.